You got a new album out, Curves Ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk about what this album has done for you guys. I understand that what you've done is gone for a more live band sound with this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah.
How was that, making that kind of transition for you in the studio and in your arrangements?
Well, to me it seemed like a natural progression. Generally what I do is I'll write songs using sequencers, and then I'll present them to the band, and in most cases I've tried to replace the sequence parts with live players. And on this album, I noticed that, especially last year when we were touring, that the live band became so strong. I really wanted to capture that energy on this record, so that was really what I was going for.
Well, do you find yourself using a different frame of mind when you're thinking about arranging for live instruments?
Yeah, actually I do. What I've tried to do is to gear the writing more towards what I know the live band will play. Since the live band is so popular now, really it's about just kind of creating the energy and capturing that essence on the albums. And I feel like as a producer I've gotten better in eliciting performances from different players. And also knowing how a certain player plays is very important. Having worked with a lot of studio players like Benny Colaiuta on drums and guys like Kirk Whalum, our special guest stars, the idea that I have now is trying to gear who I write for to. Does it make sense what I'm saying? I'm
Sure.
not speaking that well today.
No, I think I understand.
Yeah.
What you're saying is you get used to somebody's playing style, and you're able to use that in your melodies. And
Exactly. Yeah. So our live drummer Tony, the guy in our band, I feel like I've become so comfortable with his playing style. It's just easier to write. It's easier to write for the band.
And is that basically the advance you'd say Curves Ahead does for you?
I think it's a little more cohesive as a band effort, yeah. I'd say so, and I'd say that it's probably my strongest production for the band, just in terms of capturing the performances of the players.
Now, you've also got several guest stars on your album, David Grusin, Nelson Rango. A couple other names I noticed were Bruce Fowler, who I met years ago at a Frank Zappa concert.
Oh, yeah?
Interestingly enough.
Yeah, the Fowler brothers. We tried to get Walt, but he was busy. But
yeah.
Boy, they're great. It was nice having live horns too. Again, just trying to put into Techni-color what the sequencers could do, and it was great having that live energy on there.
Especially in the instrumental music, what kind of perspective do you have on translating moods and feelings to music?
Well, what I've tried to do is to add a lot of palettes of different colors to our music, and we used a lot of real sounds. For example, back when we recorded Kilimanjaro, we actually used live samples of wild animals there. So we really try to create soundscapes that have immense visual texture to them. I think that was something that started maybe a couple of years ago.
So you actually can visualize your music?
Well, that's the idea, because there's not really a singer. There's no one telling you the storyline. And that's the beauty of instrumental music to me, is that you can really create your own imagery. So what we try to do, what I try to do as a composer with a song like Snowbound, is just kind of set up an image or set up a circumstance, or I Watched Her Walk Away, and then let the listener fill in the gaps in terms of what the storyline is.
As I understand, a lot of this album was inspired here in my home state, Colorado. And just give me a brief idea of why Colorado inspired you so much.
Well, I'm happy to talk to someone in Colorado about it, because to me the state is so beautiful. I just fell in love with it. I moved there, so it's the kind of place where you hate to leave.
Sure.
And the pristine, natural beauty of it really was so inspiring. There's so many places in the country now that have, become polluted and overcrowded. Seems like one of the final frontiers. I almost feel like embarrassed telling people how great it is sometimes, that they'll crowd and move into there.
Where did you end up moving to?
To real close to Colorado Springs.
You'll be happy to know that the pristine snow is coming down right now.
Yeah, I know. You guys are getting a blizzard.
We are. But anyhow, so you've made Colorado your home, and it did something for you musically?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I can't wait to get back there. I really can't.
Which won't be too long from now, actually.
Yeah, well, we'll be off the tour right around Thanksgiving.
How would you characterize your music in comparison to some of the other bands around, like Spyro or the Yellow Jackets, that kind of thing?
Well, I'd say that the Rippingtons has a very pop-oriented sound. What we've done is we take a lot of different elements like world beat and Latin music, R&B, and some elements of jazz, and we put them almost into a pop music context. So it really appeals to people that like, rock music and certainly jazz. And it appeals to people actually that like all these different facets because it's a fairly good blend of all those different styles.
So the word pop doesn't scare you at all?
No, not really. People are always talking about how they think jazz should be categorized as just mainstream, and I can see the argument for that, because when they refer to us as jazz, we're really only taking certain elements of jazz, like improvisation and some of the language of the instruments. But it's almost safer to say it's more pop music than jazz.
It's very melodic at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we really strive for.
Do you have new melodies, that kind of thing, going through your head all the time?
Yeah, I try to pretty much keep consistently writing. But for me, it's easiest to write when I have some free time.
Do you find yourself setting aside time just to do that?
Well, that's what I'd like to do when we get off the road. Yeah, I just really take a month or two off and try to write. It's hard for me to do it on the road because, we're always so distracted with traveling and doing concerts.
I haven't seen the Rippingtons live. Could you just give me a description of how you guys sound?
Sure. It's a very visual show and a very exciting show. We really try to keep the stage active. And our fans are generally very vocal about, their appreciation. We really like to have a high-energy show rather than just a sit-down kind of a thing. And we will be featuring songs from the Curves Ahead record, as well as some of the other popular ones that people have asked us to perform.
But this is mostly, this time, based on the new album?
Pretty much. I'd say about half the show is. We'll stretch a little bit from what we do on the records, too, and we'll feature the soloists in the band. Everyone gets a chance to pretty much stretch.
What does that do for musicians to be able to stretch?
It seems to make them happier to have a place in the show where they can, expound on a solo. That seems to be what I'm getting. But one of the things that I try to do in my music is to keep the solos at a certain length, just to have them be part of a song like they are in pop songs. And that seems to be one of the formulas that works towards our success.
Playing live, do you ever bring out the guitar synth?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Really?
I play it most of the time. And I play acoustic and classical guitars. And I also have a wireless, so I have about 4 of them up there.
So now, on the album, though, you used other guitars, right?
I pretty much play as many as I can put on there. But, yeah, I play a variety of different ones on the album.
So how'd you end up with guitar as your instrument?
Well, I started on it when I was about 11. And it's the instrument, it's my first instrument, really. So I'd say in my early 20s I started working more on piano and stuff like that to help me in my writing. So now I play, I play both instruments on the records.
You've been building up quite a solid audience over the years. Give me a perspective on your audience. Who are they and how much they like you?
Well, our fan club tells us that the ages range from 16 to about 53. And it's really hard to get a handle on exactly who it is. But most of them fall within their 30s. Although there's certainly a wide range of people. It depends on the night. Sometimes we have an older crowd in their 40s. Other nights it's really rowdy. So it's a very diverse bunch of people. I think they're very loyal, which we're happy for.
What do you see as the future for the Rippingtons?
Well, next year we'll be traveling to Europe for the first time, and we've already been to Japan a couple of times. We'll probably go back. So one of my goals will probably be realized next year, and that is to be an internationally touring band. We'll certainly be putting out another album next year. The fans are clamoring for another one already. And it's a very busy schedule. It keeps me busy. Also, I produce other artists in the meantime. So.
Like who?
Well, Nelson Rangel's album will come out in January. He's also a resident of Colorado, and I produced his new album, which will be great. Also, a singer called Carl Anderson, who's a fabulous singer. He's got a great record coming out.
Carl, was he with Jesus Christ Superstar?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was the original.
Yeah, I saw him on stage with that original.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. Interesting. So you did a vocal album with him?
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you the future of jazz, but maybe I should ask you the future of pop.
Or the future of whatever it is that we do.
Yeah, but how do you see music progressing in, say, the next 10 years or so?
Well, boy, that's a hard question to answer because that's so far into the future.
Sure.
But I can see that in the past 5 or 6 years since this new adult contemporary format has started, that it's steadfastly grown. And I feel confident that it'll continue to grow now, because there's certainly more people that are coming of age that aren't really wanting to hear more oldies, and golden, whatever, the hits of the 70s. I think our fan base will increase, and more people will find out about this style of music. I mean, it's appealing to a lot of